I'm sitting back.
Welcome back, Totem Pole Nation. We are live here on a Wednesday, July the 19th. You got my main man over here, Johnny Bottles. Me and him are holding down the whole state of Florida. And we got my man, Coach Troy Taylor, all the way from the V to the Izzy, representing here at Totem Pole Nation. What's going on, Coach? Let me know what's happening.
Hey, man, there's a good thing about being persistent, and there's a bad thing about being persistent. You can get a restraining order when you're too persistent. Life lesson. What y'all got to say about that?
Words to live by. Words to live by.
I've actually gotten a call from a security team already this morning about one of our affiliates needing to back off, needing to pump the brakes a little bit. But hey, that's what we're here for. That's what family does. They reach out when they need somebody pulled back. So we have pulled back the reins on Coach. Coach this morning has just had a little bit better coffee than everybody else is pretty much what's going on. What do you think, Coach?
Just take a look at him.
Coach Bald whispered good counsel in my ear. All right. And y'all that are traveling men, you know what I'm talking about. So Coach Bald, now, I got a message at 3 a.m. from Josh Terry.
Wow.
Josh Terry, for y'all that don't know, has the number 12 podcast in the world. Okay. And this is how stupid I am. He sends me a message and he says, hey, I've had a few spots open up, wanted to know, would y'all be interested, in the podcast? I'm interested in the podcast. So I send him a message back and I say, heck yeah, man. We want you to come on the podcast. So then I said, I'm listening to your podcast right now because Josh Terry, I've already posted it on Twitter, did like an hour-long, this is my life. And it was powerful, man. Powerful. It tells all of the skeletons in his closet. And he sends me a voice message back on Instagram saying, now I just want to make this clear. I want y'all to come on my podcast. And I was like, wow. What?
Wow.
Like, you want the low man on the totem pole to come on your podcast? Johnny Bottles, that is the reason I was thrown for a loop. All right. I had already posted it because he was like, you've already posted, I'm coming on your podcast. The guy's professional. He's very particular. Okay. He prepares. Not like us, Johnny Bottles. But welcome to the family.
We wing it, baby. We wing
it. Does that surprise you at all that occurred this morning?
That just goes to show you that you may not think Totem Pole Nation has a strong, long reach, but we do. We have a long reach. People are seeing what we're doing. We're making things happen. We're on 3 social media platforms. People see us. People know about us. I hope that we become rich and famous enough so that my waistline can expand like Frank Fleming's. That's my goal in life. I want to be as big as Frank Fleming. I want to be laying down on my back. I want to lay down on my back and be taller than I am standing up straight. That's why
we're not gonna let that happen.
That's a sign of a man who's successful.
Because we can get you some Ozempic shots, all right? And you'll be looking like Coach Ball very soon.
Ripped.
What do you think, Coach Ball?
Chiseled out of stone.
I want to share something with you guys. I want to share something with you guys right now. This was a note that we had received. Dear St. Pete Rejuvenate, it is night and day difference with her. I've not seen any flare-ups with her, and the instance I thought it would normally happen, she kind of stepped back, rethought, or reprogrammed the situation and calmly nipped it in the bud. The program has worked, so I guess it's time to see how long it works, or she may not ever need any more treatments. But at the end of the day, she is different, She seems happy. She looks forward to things. Her whole dimension, body language has changed in a positive way. It has definitely changed everyone around her as well. Bless you and Anna for taking on the challenge. This was a person that suffered severe depression, and that's what this life lesson is about. You know, depression is being colorblind and constantly told how colorful the world is.
Chance, thanks for taking a chance on us. Now, Josh Terry, that was what he talked about in his podcast today that I listened to. It was about depression and battling depression and how he grew up. Whenever he walked into the gym for gym class, he always thought other people were talking about him. He always thought other people didn't like him. And once he got old enough, Johnny Bottles, he started going to bars and he started getting trashed. And basically his life spiraled out of control to the point where he had 2 different kids with 2 different women. And he started developing his brand on social media, like Coach Bald has with Totem. And from this, Johnny Bottles, Josh Terry got a job on radio. And then he got fired.
Nice.
And then he went to the podcast, and now the podcast is blowing up. Chance, you're the best. Zach Austin, happy Wednesday, fellas. What a beautiful morning. You know Zach, Coach Bald?
Yeah, Zach is who just went on. Him and Mr. Lucky. They had that phenomenal podcast, man. He's the one. He had just hey, happy belated birthday. We hit you up, Zach, on your birthday. You took the shot at midnight. He's one of us, guys.
Johnny Bottles. He just turned 21. He just turned 21.
Yes.
And you are Johnny Bottles. You're an expert in the alphabet store. You are an expert in the brown paper bag store. What should he try next?
It's not what you should try next, is what you shouldn't do.
Oh.
When you're 21 years old, take a chance. Take a chance. Don't be afraid to fail. You're going to fail at things. Don't be afraid to fail. Take a chance. It may seem like a way out prospect, a way out thing to do. You can't live your life sitting on the couch. Don't be afraid to take a step forward. Take a chance on things. You got to roll the dice, baby. When you're 21 years old, what do you got to lose? You're not married. You don't have kids. And don't get married and don't have kids until you're in your 30s. That's what I tell everybody. Do it when you're in your 30s. That way you can get everything out of your system from 20 to 30 years old. I told all my kids that. And half of them listened, half of them didn't. But
20 to 30. I was chasing
20 to 30. Do whatever you want to do.
I was chasing state championships. Right. Coach Bald, I don't know what you were chasing, but I know it looked good. All right. It was probably chasing you. All right. Life is all about taking risks, staying focused, and never getting comfortable. This guy, Zach, you don't know this, but I was watching that podcast with you and Mr. Lucky, and we saw something special in you. You have a gift. You are wise beyond your years, Zach Austin. Okay? And I don't want to tell your business, but y'all, this young man lost his mom at a young age, and he's been through some stuff. And Zach, the harder your story, the better the story. Nobody likes a movie that, oh, I just got up and everything went good today. You know, what are you feeling, Coach Bald? You've been through it, Coach Bald.
You know, sometimes your path is harder because your calling is greater. You know, that's something that I talked with my main man, A.D. Palmore, you know, the cyborg. He's going through a lot of stuff, and he's, out there trying to get his mixed martial arts career flowing. And it is, man, it's a daily grind. And when it comes to depression, I think there's, some do's and some don'ts. And, one of the do nots that I say is, when something bad happens to you, don't bring your luggage with you. Don't bring your knapsack. Don't pitch a tent and decide that you want to live there. Okay. keep that ball moving. One of my do's is do listen to positive, motivational, something that will influence you and make you want to go. It could be as simple as the Rocky theme. It could be as simple as Iron Man by Ozzy Osbourne. Get up, keep moving, keep pumping. It's only a phase. You know, you can make it as big as a wall that's unclimbable, or you could make it as small as a speed bump or a rock in the road that you just happen to step over. So that's kind of where I'm going with it. Yeah, we love having you, Zach. You are definitely one of us. I love the fact that the combination that we've built. We've got some of the wisest of the wise, and we've got some of the new kids on the block, and they are going to learn from us, and we are learning from these guys as well. They're going to hook us up on the new technology tips and all that good stuff, and vice versa. They're going to hear our life lessons, and they're going to learn from us. So maybe that wall that they have to climb, it won't be as big because they know, hey, their big brothers have been there, and they can always hit me up. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. That's why all the people, all the guys that I still coach, all the guys that I coached still call me coach, because when I coach you for life. You know what I mean? Like with the Squared Circle Maniacs. And while I'm talking about the Squared Circle Maniacs, I want to give a big, huge shout out to John. We are all pulling for you here at Totem Pole Nation. We care about you. It's just a bump in the road. You're going to get through this, and you got all of us got your back. Hit us up anytime. Big shout out to Ron too, man. I believe he just went 8 years of beating cancer. So huge shout out to our guy Ron as well.
Absolutely. Ron's been through a lot. John's going through a lot, and we, like Coach said, we wish him well. Yeah. But tune into our podcast on Sunday as I throw a plug in for the podcast.
Yeah. You know, listening to Josh this morning and then talking to Lauren Johnson. You know, Lauren Johnson is the head football coach at Highland Springs High School, which, if you know Richmond, it's near the airport. All right, so his school is near the airport. He's from Miramar, Florida. He played at Virginia Tech, and he was head coach for 12 years before he won his first state championship. He's won 5 and 7 years. And we did a podcast. What day was that? Monday. And I've gotten more text messages. I've gotten more calls about that podcast than any other podcast, because Lauren put it all on the line. Like, he told everything, the good and the bad. And sometimes telling people the bad and your mistakes is more important than telling them the good things. Zach, like one big family, this is just the beginning of something great and inspiring. Johnny Bottles, what's on your heart?
Yes. What's on my heart right now? And regarding what? And regarding life in general?
And regarding it, what do you feel? What's the feeling on your heart that you would like to express and say?
It's a beautiful day outside. Another day above ground. Don't waste it. Go out, do something productive. Even if you do one thing productive, get up off the couch, do one little thing productive. Next thing you know, that's like a snowball rolling down a hill. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You'll be doing more things. You'll feel like you actually did something. Write down what you're going to do at night the next day. Every single night, write down what you're going to accomplish. It doesn't have to be a long list of 15, 20 things. Just do 5 things you want to do. Whether it's something personal that will make you happy, or something that you know you need to do around the house, at your job. If you got to clean out your car, take it to the car wash, you can check that off. Once you see a list and you start checking things off, you say, wow, I got all that done today. That's pretty good. Next thing you know, that list is going to be longer. You're going to be accomplishing more great things. So even the most mundane things that you could do makes you feel like you've done something. So,
man, Coach Ball.
Basically what I'm saying right. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, what wisdom?
I was just going to say, don't write off the little life. Keep it moving. Get up, do something, keep it moving. Next thing you know, you will be moving.
Zach Austin
Message of the day.
Ooh, read it. Yeah. You're good, Johnny. Read it, Johnny.
Message of the day: make yourself proud. Make a goal for yourself and hit it. Each day, make a new goal for the day, and you'll start to find out who you truly are. And that is a life lesson right there. Let me tell you. That's Zach Austin. How old is he again? How old is
21. Zach? He needs to be on here. You need to be 21. On here instead of me.
21 years old. Motivational speaker, 21. Zach Austin. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Without a doubt. Glad we got Zach on board. These are my guys from Musina, New York. So it's great to link up all the way up there and all the way down here. It's awesome. And yeah, the things that he's been through, man, he can help, guys his age and even guys our own age, preaching the gospel, the testimonies, just getting them rolling it out of your mouth, man. It's as therapeutic as it is to hear it, as it is to say it, so I'm glad we got Zach, on the squad and everything. And yeah, we're just doing a lot of big things, man. Sideline design, the design right under me right now, man. These guys just came in. They blessed us with a lottery ticket and everything. And I'm just, I love what we got going on. And gonna scroll back, man. That podcast this weekend is gonna be in fuego. We got Guy Evans. Guy Evans wrote the book Nitro. He has also co-wrote Eric Bischoff's last book, his most recent book. So this guy knows that whole NWO. He knows that whole deal like the back of his hand. He's got all the insider information. So that podcast is going to be on fire. So I cannot wait to get him on. That's going to be this Sunday, 4:00 Eastern Standard. Definitely be checking us out here. But yeah, we got a lot of things going. I did breaking news. I got a text message late last night. I was already sleeping, but our girl Taylor, who is coming on Totem Pole Nation, she did get a call from her agency, and she is going to have to go do some of her modeling today. So we might not be able to get her at 3. We're going to she's going to contact me, and we're going to make it happen. But I doubt we do it today at 3. It might be tomorrow. But she is locked in, and she is Totem Pole Nation. So we're fired up about that. Yep, she committed, and we're going to make this happen. And I'm so happy as well that we got a package deal, because her mom, Miss Michelle, one of my favorite people, huge football fan, and just a Southern Belle, a.k.a. Mama Bear. She is Totem Pole Nation for life as well. So I can't wait to get her on here. And I'll tell you what, you've seen Taylor. The acorn don't fall far from the tree, if you know what I mean.
Miss America, wasn't she?
Beautiful. I mean, yeah, beautiful.
Johnny. Yeah, Johnny.
I'm gonna coffee up, guys.
Johnny, what's up with this book,
yes,
Nitro? Sir. Tell us a little bit about the book Nitro.
When the wrestling wars were taking place at the turn of the century. That sounds strange to say, turn of the century. At the turn of the century, the wrestling wars were taking place. 98 to the year 2000, 2001, WWF versus WCW. And they were staunch rivals, arch enemies in the wrestling world. And Eric Bischoff was the man who was running WCW. Vince McMahon was running WWF. Okay, I want to preface it with that. WCW's salaries were so high, their production costs were so exorbitant that the company eventually it couldn't function anymore. AOL, remember America Online? AOL, you remember that?
AOL Time Warner,
Coach. AOL, yes. AOL. They own Time Warner, and at the end of all that, AOL was selling Time Warner. And they needed to, it was too much debt involved. So they hired a guy named Jamie Kellner. And Jamie Kellner came in to run the network, TBS, TNT. Ted Turner had 2 networks, TNT and TBS. They're both owned by the same people. Let me say that also, so you have that for a frame of reference.
Ted Turner.
They said
Ted
that
Turner also owned CNN.
He owned all that. He owned Time Warner, but he sold it. He sold it to America Online, cashed out, made a ton of money,
right,
married Jane Fonda, living the life. He was living it up in retirement.
He was like Jay-Z.
And he was the guy you saw everywhere.
Jay-Z.
Like Jay-Z. Exactly. Ted Turner was a southern redneck guy who had money. And he was like an old school.
I knew he did boats, but how did he really get his money?
Wise investments, I guess. That's all I can think of. He turned into a billionaire.
With it. Yeah.
But the book analyzes. Yes, he did. He made some wise investments. The book analyzes the dissolution of WCW, how it all fell apart, and the story behind Vince McMahon and the company coming in and buying WCW from AOL Time Warner for a ridiculous low amount of money. I think it was like $4 million, $3 million. That's all that company cost. Yes. So Vince picked up
the NWA. That got everything.
Those shows. They got all copyrights to everything.
NWA,
copyrights to all the old video footage,
all that.
Vince was, he was securing all the footage because eventually he wanted to have a network. That's what his goal was. He wanted to have a TV network, but it didn't work out that way. It was streaming, but that's just a footnote of whether it was streaming or whether it was actually a broadcast network. Funny enough, the WWE network in Canada was a broadcast network. You would just turn the knob on your cable TV, and there it was, the WWE network. It wasn't streaming, through a computer or anything like that. But be that as it may, it's a fascinating story. A lot of moving parts to the book Nitro. A lot of moving parts to the entire scenario of selling the company. What led to it? Crazy stories, backstage. It's all backstage info. It's not a lot of things that happen in the ring. Virtually none of this that's in the book happened in the ring. It all happened behind the scenes. Fights in a corporate boardroom and fights in a locker room, essentially. So it's going to be I've seen Guy Evans on other podcasts, and the man can talk. The man knows what he's talking about, and he'll pull you in to these stories that he'll tell. Very fascinating.
It's going to be broadcast on Sunday, but when are y'all taping it?
Due to his schedule, we're taping it 6:00 on Thursday.
Okay, right on. I just want to make sure I ain't got nothing else going on, and I want to make sure I want to watch it when y'all do it. I mean, I'm gonna watch it backstage.
Oh, okay.
Because that's just awesome, man.
We found that more people watch the show on Sundays on YouTube and on Twitter and on Facebook than on a Thursday night at 6:00 when they're just getting home from work. And I'm talking Eastern time, just getting home from work and having dinner and all that stuff. So,
well, y'all are smart because if you stream, you're supposed to stream at the same time and same day. Not like me. I just pick random times and whatever it is what it is. So y'all are actually disciplined. I'm not. Coach Ball.
We try.
What are you doing? Yeah, Coach Ball. I mean, what's the plans for today, man? I mean, dude, people are hitting me up going, what is the deal? Like, how did you meet Taylor and her mom?
Oh, they lived in the neighborhood. Yeah, they lived in the neighborhood, and that was the thing. She graduated early. I believe she's 20. I believe she turns 21 this year. But, yeah, she graduated, I want to say 15, 16 years old, man. Super bright. But, yeah, her mom was just one of us, man. She lives in the neighborhood. She's just so sweet, so funny. And, man, I tell you what, she can cook. We had a barbecue over here. She brought over, the humongous tub, and I think she still left it here. I don't know what she was frying in that thing, but it didn't last long around this crew. But yeah, she ended up moving and everything, so we don't have the connection that we once did. But it's, Johnny, it's almost like, with family and everything. When you get together for Christmas, man, you celebrate birthdays, you get after it. So yeah, that's the relationship we have. And Taylor is a very special woman. She's one of two women that I know that have that. If they need a bodyguard, they can call me immediately. I will hop on a plane and I will be there. There are two people. One is her. The other is the queen of the SEC, Miss Sarah Blake Cheek. She is the other one. They know they have the rights. If they need a personal bodyguard, which those two women probably always need an armed person beside them 24/7. But yeah, those are two of my favorites right there. Nobody else has that deal locked in. That just kind of tells you how special they are, what they mean here to Totem Pole Nation.
Cool.
So what you got planned
Big
today,
things
Johnny
happening.
Bottles? What you got going on
I have
today,
a
Johnny
Bottles? My wife told me that my biggest chore today is to take care of a swimming pool because of all the rain that we've had over the last week. The algae in the swimming pool is starting to crawl out of the pool and knock on the front door saying, "Get me out of here. Get me out of here." So I got to go out there and I got to shock it and shock it again and shock it again. Yeah.
Clean those pools, you two
Pools
guys.
look a little rough.
Y'all got pools.
Yeah.
I'm the
Amen.
pool boy today. So.
I know the pain. Johnny. I'm in that same boat, and yeah, that's why I'm in the shape I am. I'm always grinding on that pool, so I can have friends and family come here and love it. And
what is it like to have a pool? Because I never had a pool, dude. Like, what is it like to have a pool? Is it as good as like? Is the grass always greener? Is it better for someone else to have the pool than for you to have the pool? Coach Bald, I'll let you answer first.
It's 50-50, buddy. Oh, go ahead.
50-50.
Yeah, for myself, I mean, I grew up in Parkley Apartments at a young age. You know, it was the worst pool in the world. I mean, that had algae that would grab you and try to drown you, you know, back then. So to be able to have my own pool, it means everything. And another thing I do, Johnny, you know, I do weird stuff. Another thing I do every morning, you know, after the apple cider, after the green juice, after the coffee kicks in, and I got to do that thing, I jump in the shower, and guess what? That water is as cold as it'll possibly get. The cold shower. And that is another mechanism for depression that I think is really big that I do. One of my tricks to the trade, if I start feeling kind of antsy or anxiety coming on, jump in some cold water. That, as well as, dude, sometimes if I'm feeling like that, I will grab a lemon and bite it like an apple. Those two things mess my head up. They get me refocused. They get me reprogrammed, because instead of thinking, man, I feel weird, I'm thinking, this thing is so sour. You know what I mean? And so I'm not feeling those other thoughts anymore. Or this water is so cold, like I'm shivering. All I can think about is I'm cold. I can't think that I'm feeling weird or I'm feeling anxiety and stuff like that. So those are two other tricks of the trade that help me kind of refocus my brain. But yeah, I love the pool. I jump in it every single day. Even in the wintertime, I'll dip in for a good minute. All the muscles, the aches and pains, they're all numbed up, and it's just another part of the recovery process. You know, just from working out, and, you know, being in my mid 40s and everything. You know, you don't recover as fast. So yeah, I do different stuff as far as recovering as well. But yeah, I love it. But yeah, that you do sometimes. Like when you go on vacation, you come back, you know, and people have, you know, watched your place, but they don't know what to do with the pool. So yeah, you got to hit that shock up, brother. Hit that shock up.
Got to shock. Absolutely. The only time I bite into a lemon is when I'm doing a shot of tequila. So I'll be doing that later.
Boom, my man. Yeah,
got it.
Absolutely.
Got it.
So Johnny, what's your thoughts on having a pool?
It's like I said, it's 50-50. It's 50% of it's great. But for me, the other 50% of it, I don't have any kids here. They're all grown now. They're doing their own thing. I'm the one who's got to take care of the pool. Mrs. Bottles, she don't know the first thing about it. She'll skim it, you know, if she wants to get into it when it's clean, she'll skim it, get whatever debris from the storm the night before. Or you might have a dragonfly dead floating around in the pool. Skim that thing out of there and she'll get into her thing. But right now, it looks like something out of the movie. You ever seen The Toxic Avenger?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie The Toxic Avenger?
I know him. He was from
it looks like
Flippo's
that.
Trailer Park.
I took a look in the pool.
I know him.
I said, hey, pool. Wow, this is filthy in here. And I saw him looking back at me from the bottom of the pool. Creature from the Black Lagoon was in there, too. They were playing cards. So I got to take care of that.
Dude, where we're from, I mean, I guess it's almost any city. Industrialization. We had Hopewell, was on the Appomattox River. We had DuPont on the James River. And there's three-eyed fish. There's fish with two tails. I mean, it's like Homer Simpson. It's like The Simpsons, dude. I mean, is this Johnny? You're from Baltimore. I mean, is it the same in Baltimore? Is there places that have these, like we used to go through West Point? I mean, what is that? My dad, like, that's a paper mill. And I was like, what does that smell? He goes, that's the smell of money. Hopewell, they got Allied Chemical. That's the smell of money. Mm-hmm. What's your philosophy on that? Am I right on, Johnny Bottles?
The smell of money is like
the
a sweet cologne from a beautiful woman.
Kenneth Thompson. This guy loves Totem Pole, and we love him. How's his son doing, Coach Bald? You think he's going to get a shot? They just started a new arena league. There's going to be a team in Virginia Beach. Let's get him up there with Coach McNally, dude. Let's get Kenny up there with Coach McNally. All right, dude, you're going to get the Coach Taylor rate. All right, which is pretty good. I mean, 250. 250. Wow. Get there, and then, dude, get your 5 hours or whatever, and then, dude, get promoted. Take a picture with Coach McNally. Like, he'll get an arena team. What you think, Coach Bald?
Yeah, man. Amen to that. Exactly. I'll get those guys locked in with that, and I'll have Pops record the whole thing as well. So that way, you can always go back and check it out. But yeah, man, Coach McNally right here today is probably going to hit 15K followers. When he started, I was one of his original, I think, 5 followers. We're talking one of the greatest offensive line coaches of all time, Johnny Bottles. This guy coached Anthony Munoz, who is arguably the best left tackle in pro football history. And that's just one of the many Hall of Fame guys that he has coached. And yeah, huge shout out to the big fella, Big Kenny Thomason. Today is his birthday. So huge shout out, I believe 24 years old. So yeah, we got to get him in a camp. We got to get him on a squad for sure. But yeah, huge birthday shout out to him. And yeah, exactly, man. That's family right there, man. Love those guys in that Illinois, St. Louis area right there. Yeah, those are my guys right there. So yeah, huge shout out. We love you, Kenny, and yeah, everybody, man. It's just a family atmosphere here at Totem Pole Nation, man. Glad we got them watching our backs as well. What do you got, Coach?
I gotta ask Johnny Bottle something because he's very well cultured. Yes. He knows pop culture. He seems to be well traveled. I'm from Route 10. Well, that's where you pretty much, if you're coming from Maryland past Philip Morris, it's the next county, Chesterfield.
Right.
Have you ever been to Buffalo, New York? Have you ever seen Niagara Falls? Have you ever been on the Maid of the Mist? Because I'm getting ready to go to Buffalo, New York this weekend, Johnny Bottles. What can you tell me about Buffalo? Anything?
I've never been that far north. I've been to New York. I've been to Jersey, but I've never been to I've been to Manhattan. I've never been to Buffalo, New York. So wow. I couldn't tell you the first thing about it outside of the fact that it's very close to the Canadian border.
Yes, it is. And I mean, 2 trailer park girls go round the outside. I didn't know that the original Johnny Bottles was 2 Buffalo girls go round the outside. Have you ever heard of that in a song? Have you ever heard of it, Coach Bald? Did you know that it was
I've heard
Buffalo?
Of it.
You have. What song is it? I mean, I always thought it was just, I thought Eminem made that up.
There's an old song. There's an old song from the 1800s called Buffalo Girl. Won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight. Come out tonight, Buffalo Girl. Won't you come out tonight? That's how the song went. And it was big in the late 1800s and the early 1900s.
That's
back
why I love
in
having
those
you here.
days. In fact,
do you have a
I
history?
first heard that. I first heard that when I was a kid in a Bugs Bunny cartoon from the 30s and the 40s. He would sing that song. He's like tap dancing going down the street, and he had on a straw hat, and he had a cane under his arm, doing a soft shoe coming down the street. I think he was going to see his girlfriend, and then he ran into Elmer Fudd. So you go up there this weekend, stay away from a bald man with a gun.
Does he still even have a gun, Johnny?
Elmer Fudd?
Get you going. Yeah, I heard he's not allowed to carry a gun anymore. Bugs Bunny or Mickey Mouse? Which one, Johnny Bottles?
Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny.
Why?
I'll tell you why. Because the writing of those early cartoons from the 30s and 40s were so clever, and you had the great Mel Blanc. Look him up. That's a history lesson for you. Mel Blanc. He just didn't do voiceovers. He was a man of 1,000 voices. He just didn't do voiceovers. He was in movies. He was in TV shows. If you remember Jack Benny, the comedian Jack Benny. Look Jack Benny up. They run the old TV shows like on MeTV and Antenna TV on the weekends.
Yeah, the Jack Benny show.
On cable. The Jack Benny show. Mel Blanc played a whole bunch of different characters on this show. When he would tell his butler, Rochester, Jack Benny would, Rochester, go outside and start the car. And it was old Model T. Because Jack Benny's gimmick was he was cheap. And you would hear the car starting up and grinding. And it was coughing. It's choking. It's backfiring. That was Mel Blanc doing that with his voice.
Wow.
He did the sound effect of the car starting up. He did the whole thing where Jack Benny would run into a Mexican guy, like at the airport, at the train station, the bus station. He's sitting there in a full sombrero with the Clint Eastwood tunic on, from Good, Bad, the Ugly. He's sitting there like this. And he goes, "Oh, you're waiting for a bus too? See. What's your name? Cy. See. That guy. That's Mel Blanc. Little pencil-thin mustache, a little fat Jewish guy. Hilarious man. A lot of that was all done off the cuff, improv, made up. But
man, that's
great stuff. Great stuff. Bugs Bunny kicks Mickey Mouse in the balls. That's how tough Bugs Bunny was. He was. Great stuff.
It reminds me of Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan. When I'm a kid, it's Hulk Hogan. I got the Hulkamaniac. The blue dumbbells that were 3 pounds, but now it's Ric Flair. Like, dude, come on. I mean, stand up, Coach Bald. Look at that shirt. Heel for life.
Heel for life, baby. That's it.
Abdullah the Butcher. Can't wait for you guys to get in and talk about Abdullah the Butcher, man. That's going to be some good talk right there. They had him on last night, Coach Taylor.
Yeah. Kenny, this is the son here. Kenny, we want to get you up to Buffalo, New York. We want you to work out with Coach McNally. So we can, dude, every offensive line coach in the world follows Coach McNally. We want to get you up there. We want to get him working with you. Then we want you to, we want him to sign off on you. Because they just started a new arena football league. I mean, you got it, brother. Johnny.
Or he'll get you a job one way or another, I think.
Yeah. Johnny, have you ever heard when Logan Paul, which one's the wrestler? Is it Logan Paul?
Logan Paul. They're both boxers. Jake is a boxer. Logan's a boxer. But Logan wrestles also. So,
have you ever seen the podcast they did with Logan Paul where the first time he came out, Triple H told him they don't care how good you can wrestle. They want to see your charisma. And like he talked about, he didn't want to be a heel. He said, I don't want to be a heel. Mm-hmm. I want to be a good guy. I want to be a babyface. Mm-hmm. And then that's when the girl told him, that's the wrestler, she said being a heel is more fun. Because sometimes when you're so good at being a heel, you actually become good. I mean, it's like Rocky Maivia. It's like Stone Cold. What are they? I mean, they're so good at being bad that they're good. What's your belief on that, Johnny Bottles, being the resident wrestling expert?
Well, I'll tell you, back in the day, it used to be good versus evil. Now the lines are blurred in today's society. Everything's looked at in shades of gray. So the guys that are in shades of gray, the guys that are, like you said, not good but not bad either, like Stone Cold, The Rock, all those guys, who Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, the NWO for that matter, became faces at the end. They became baby faces. That's a reflection of today's society. Nothing is as concrete as black and white anymore. Everything's looked at in shades of gray. People are cynical nowadays, and they look for the dirty side of things, the shady side of things. There's always a shady side of something. You've always, there's always nothing's absolute good, nothing's absolute evil. And the best thing about being a heel, as they say, the bad guy in a professional wrestling match is you don't get beat up as much as the good guy. The way the match starts out, you go back and forth, it's pretty even. Then you're beating the hell out of the good guy, beating the hell out of him. And maybe in that match, or maybe in the follow-up match, the good guy makes a comeback, does his moves, beats the hell out of you, and pins you. But you're getting, they call it heat. Never get heat in real life.
Yeah,
but
we get heat all the time.
Getting heat on the baby face is beating up the baby face so the crowd boos you. So you don't get that beat up as a bad guy in professional wrestling. You do. You do. Like Fidel Sierra, the Cuban assassin. He broke his body down for the business of professional wrestling. I'm sure that man's got a lot of aches and pains and other issues physically. Yes. And a lot of these guys do. Most of these guys do. Yes. Or you could be like Ric Flair. You could be like Ric Flair and drink a half gallon of vodka every day for your aches and pains. So that would take.
Were the Road Warriors? I mean, were the Road Warriors the first ones that were so good at being bad that they were good? I mean, because they weren't exactly nice. Like, I mean, they did put Kurt Hennig in the ropes and almost killed him. And Larry the Axe. Who's the first ones, dude? Who's the first ones that were so good at being bad that they were good? The Road Warriors,
I would have to say,
dude.
The Four Horsemen, and the Road Warriors basically came out at the same time, simultaneously. But more people, I think the Road Warriors debuted first, maybe a year before.
Kids thought they were cool.
Horsemen. I would say the Road Warriors. It was something I got out of Mad Max. It was patterned after Mad Max, the Mad Max movies, the whole gimmick. You know, the guys with mohawks, painted faces, dog collars, spikes, all that stuff.
This guy's got the number one Legion of Doom. Yeah, Coach Bald's got the number one Road Warriors Legion of Doom baseball card collection of all time. Talk about that, Coach, your collection you have.
Hey, man, it's impressive, but there's a guy by the name of David Beck that has the ultimate collection of everything. Yeah, he has. He is a millionaire off of cards. He had just posted yesterday 2 perfect Ric Flair 10s of his rookie card. There's only 5 in the world. He owns 2 of them. You know, this guy is DP. He's the man. I probably could link that up. He's an Orlando guy. We've never linked up, but yeah, we've messaged each other back and forth. I think they do their own podcast, so I think it'd be good for us to collabo. You know, that's what you do when you're on the rise. You know, you collabo. It's not a competition thing; it's a collaboration thing, right? How about when Jay-Z, Ja Rule, and who
DMX.
was it? DMX. Yeah, when they collaboed, man, they about took the whole hip hop nation, you know, to a whole nother level. That's what we're about here. And speaking of collaborations, man, I'm telling you what. How about Sarah Blake Cheek and our girl Taylor? What a collaboration that would be. East Coast meets West Coast. You know, Taylor's originally a Florida. All right. Taylor's originally a Florida girl, but she's all the way in Cali now.
Who's that? Do your Garth imitation.
I got to go get the hair.
Go get it, dude. It'll be worth it. This guy can imitate Garth from Wayne's World better than anybody. What?
That was back in.
Yeah. Talk about Wayne's World. I know you can, Johnny Bottles. How Mike Myers, that was his first character, wasn't it?
I think it was the first character that they put into a movie. He was doing that character on Saturday Night Live with a whole bunch of other different characters. Where no Austin Powers, but he did a variety of characters. Never really went anywhere. The host of the German talk show where he wore like a black
sphincter
long sleeve T-shirt. Yeah. So that was a great movie. No sequel though. Did they do a sequel to it? To Wayne's World?
I think they did a Wayne's World too.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
So Wayne's World
did a sequel. Yeah.
Tia Carrera.
Okay. Oh, whatever happened to her, man? Yeah, I mean, she was hot for a while. She did that one movie, and you never saw her again. So
yeah, man,
she still looks good. Have you seen her lately? Yeah, she still looks good.
But we would like to get her on the podcast. Chance Fawcett. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do. Wow.
That's Razor Ramon.
Scott Hall.
Right there.
Yeah, Scott Hall said that when he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. That's the last thing he said on stage. Just remember, when you're feeling down, bad times. Yeah, he said, bad times don't last, but bad guys do. And the whole place went crazy.
Are you a historian? I mean, dude, you know your pop culture. I mean, do you have a background in history?
No. I just my wife tells me that I'm a fountain of useless information because I have it all up here. Little facts and figures up here that will never get you anywhere, but I remember them all.
Yeah, and it's about wrestling. It's about pop culture. It's about alcohol. What else?
What else matters?
I don't know. Football. I mean, the only thing I know anything about is football. I mean, you can ask me football. I know music. Yeah. I like music. Like, I like a lot of different types of music. Like, I don't know how far back I could go, but like, Coach Ball, tell them who your favorite band is.
My favorite. Now, this is it. I mean, I love all types of music as well, but if I had to have like a go-to playlist, I'm going
Cody
with
Daryl
Hall and John Oates. Hall and Oates, man. So many timeless jams came from those two guys right there. So Daryl Hall and John Oates. But I mean, I love I just like hip hop music, man. I'm huge Biggie Smalls, man. That'd probably be my favorite hip hop artist. As far as heavy metal, I mean, I love heavy metal. Guns N' Roses and Metallica were right there. Right. I love a lot of Pantera, man. That's what I work out to. Work out the Pantera, Rage Against the Machine, Metallica, Soundgarden, stuff like that. That's how I get that.
Johnny Bottles wants to. Well, Johnny Bottles got something. I can tell. Look at him. He's starting to get.
When I drive down the road, and I hear the Renegades of Funk come on the radio by Rage Against the Machine, it makes you want to drive faster. Crank that shit up and floor it. But great song. What Pantera? That song "Walk." Oh God, that can't get you psyched up. I don't know.
Who is Cody Hall?
What about the Cody Hall? Scott Hall's son.
Chance.
He's Scott Hall's son.
Cody Hall. Do you know Cody Hall, Chance? If so, we want to get him on the Square Circle Maniacs podcast. Yeah.
Here's a story about Cody Hall.
Him?
He's a big boy.
Here's a story about Cody Hall. He's taller than his father. Cody Hall is. I believe he's taller than what his father was. And he went to Japan. He wrestled for Japanese promotions to learn and get trained and learn all about the art of professional wrestling. Stiff. So he worked in Japan, but I hurt his neck.
Oh,
he had a real bad neck injury twice.
Dude, I'm an idiot. I don't
real
know.
Bad neck injury.
But
real bad neck injury.
Yeah,
that's why you haven't seen him in a North American promotion because he hurt his neck so bad.
Chance, hit me up. Hit me up on Twitter. You got my cell number, I think. 804-839-5244. Same number, same hood. It's all good.
That's
804-839-5244. Hit me up. We want to get Cody Hall on Square Circle Maniacs podcast. I mean, what stories could he tell? What stories could he tell, Johnny Bottles? I mean, what Tell me about his dad.
He could talk about his father. He could talk about his father's issues with alcohol abuse. He could talk about being the child of a professional wrestler who's on the road all the time.
That's tough.
And what kind of life that was, because it's like growing up without a father. The guy comes back like once a month, a couple times a month. Keep in mind, Scott Hall wrestled as Razor Ramon in the WWF.
Yeah.
That's how long ago that was, where you're wrestling 320 days a year. You hardly have any time off whatsoever. Also, Cody Hall can tell stories about how brutal the dojos are in Japanese wrestling organizations. I mean, those guys, it's all predetermined, and it's a work. It's fake, of course, but those guys would really lay it into you when you're new. Hulk Hogan went over there to get trained by a guy named Hiro Matsuda when he first tried to break into the wrestling business. Hiro Matsuda broke Hulk Hogan's leg the first day in. And about a month and a half later, when the leg healed up, the fracture healed up as best as it could, Hogan came back in a knee brace and said, "I'm ready. Let's do it." He didn't let it get to him. So, fascinating stuff over in Japan, man. Those guys play for keeps.
You know, I'm going to make some videos here soon. Probably make one today. And one of them is going to be like just moments that changed my life. And one of the moments that changed my life was when I was in college. I minored in political science. Yeah, can you believe that? And I had a professor named Joe.
You're a well-read guy.
Joe Skolnick, who was a lifelong bachelor, had gone to UVA. He was probably 60. He wore polo. He's poloed out, man. He had pins for days in his pockets. Dr. Joe Skolnick. And this is what he said. It's all about networking. I was like, well, I don't even know what networking is. Like, he said, imagine what this was when George Bush and Al Gore were running for president. Imagine what George Bush and Al Gore's Rolodex looks like. Coach Ball, do you know what a Rolodex is?
Oh, yeah.
Johnny Bottles.
Yeah.
Tell all the young guys out there that's watching, or young ladies, what is a Rolodex?
Well, kids, let me tell you. Sit down for a second and have Uncle Johnny tell you a story. Back in the day before cell phones, what we had was a little card catalog that was on a barrel. And you would snap the card into the barrel and spin it around until you had essentially a barrel with all these cards sticking out of it with people's names and phone numbers. And when you owned a business, even in the comfort of your own home, you would go ahead and flip through that in alphabetical order and find out who you wanted to call on your landline telephone. Remember landline, kids? The wire came out of the phone and plugged into the wall. And a lot of times those, I remember rotary phones where you had to put your finger in a hole and a dial on the phone and spin it to call the police, to call anybody, call 911, all that good stuff. Yes. So, kids, that's what we had to suffer through back in the old days before all this modern technology, before you had a little personal computer in your pocket, which is your cell phone.
Man.
But I digress.
Networking. I mean, how did we all meet?
Networking.
Yeah. I mean, Coach Bald, it was destiny. You came on our team. And then that same week that we met, you was over our house watching what?
Pro wrestling. SummerSlam, I believe.
Pro wrestling.
Was it SummerSlam?
I don't know, dude. It was WCW or NWA. Did you know that Hulk Hogan once tried out to be a bass player for Metallica? Uh-oh, Johnny Bottles. Johnny Bottles is shaking his head.
If you listen to Hulk Hogan long enough, he'll have you convinced that he discovered the cure for cancer, but the federal government didn't want to release it. You'll have Hulk Hogan say, "Brother, I was out hanging and banging with these little green men that landed in my backyard." He didn't play bass for Metallica. He played bass in a local rock band. That's what he did on the weekends at night. He is musically trained. He can play the bass guitar and a regular guitar. But he never tried out to be the bass player in Metallica. And I'll tell you why, because James Hetfield, the rhythm guitarist and lead singer from Metallica, and the drummer from Metallica, both said that never happened, but it's a cool story, bro. That's what they said. Cool story, Hulk.
I mean, it's the Mandela effect,
Never
right?
happened.
I don't know.
You could do.
Zach, do you even know who
let me
Mandela
tell you something.
was?
With the Mandela effect, you could do 15 life lesson morning shows about the Mandela effect and all the different things that changed in the world.
Nelson Mandela.
A podcast about the Mandela effect? Right.
The Mandela.
Because it was announced Nelson Mandela, when I was a child, when I was a kid, Nelson Mandela died in prison in South Africa. And that was announced worldwide. And all of a sudden, a couple months later, oh, he's getting released. What? I thought he was dead. Oh, no, he didn't die. Whether that was bad reporting, who knows?
They wanted people to think he was dead.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, dude, he did 40 years in a cell. Invictus. That's a movie. Watch that. Dude was in jail for 40 years.
Right.
A nice
phenomenal
guy. And he's from the lineage of kings. Yeah, kings of South Africa, the original. That's amazing. Yeah. Invictus is powerful. It shows the power of sports, bringing people together. You know, even pro wrestling. Coach Ball, what are you thinking, man? All right, you ready to shout out our sponsors, life lessons for today? What do you think?
Yeah, if you
what's your life lesson?
Dealing with depression, man. You know, there's do's and there's don'ts. You know, my on my do list is, you know, keep fighting it. You know, listen to something positive, whether it's the Rocky theme, you know, that David Goggins, that's how he broke the pull-up record. He listened to the Rocky theme over and over. He set the playlist where that's all he listened to for 16, 18, 24 hours while he broke that record. So find a way, you know, do what you have to do, but listen to positive stuff. The do nots, you know, do not bring your bags, your luggage, you know, your cell phone charger. Don't live there. Okay. Don't live in that depression. Keep it moving, keep grinding, keep thinking positive. So that's my life lesson for today. And I'll pass it to you, Johnny, and then we'll wrap the whole thing up with you, Coach Taylor.
All I can say is, folks, get moving. Don't just sit around. Get up, get moving, accomplish things. Don't let your pool turn green. That's my motto for the day. Don't let your pool turn green. Keep it moving. Do what you need to nurture that pool so it doesn't turn green. Like you could say you let your life turn green. You let an algae grow in your life because it's just so stationary. Get moving. Do something. Even if it's something little, go and do something. Take it away, Coach Troy.
I mean, I'm thinking about a guy who followed me on Twitter named John Garrett. He's Jason Garrett's brother. And I heard him speak at a clinic once, and he said that most decisions in life you make before you even have to make them. Like the coach was saying, like he's made the decision he ain't going to drink and drive. So if he drinks a beer, he ain't going to drive. Like that decision's already been made. And if you're like me, you're not smart enough to make decisions. So I believe most decisions in life are made for you. At least they are for me, because I can't make the right decision. I'm just here. I mean, Coach Bald gets phone calls at 6 a.m. about me stalking a guy. So I'm just here, and I'm blessed to be next to Coach Bald and Johnny Bottles.
I just want to give a huge shout out to Sideline Design, making us look better than we've ever looked before. The future is so bright with you guys. I'm so fired up about it. That's why we put you guys in the middle, because you guys are stuck in the middle with you. Oh, yeah. But also, huge shout out to Cultivate Wellness. Check out the website. They've got a little bit of everything for you there. I got my beautiful cousin, Julia, who works on the Pike. Just tell her what your ailments are. She'll help you. She'll get you squared away. She's a doctor of that place, pretty much. And speaking of doctors, man, St. Pete Rejuvenate. Give us a shout. Check us out. Dr. Anna, Dr. Barbara, they will take great, phenomenal care for you. If you need help dropping a couple LBs, it's summertime. You want to get in that bikini or you want to get in that mankini, Coach Taylor, check us out. We can hook that up. They do the facials, the Botox, the Brotox. We got you squared away for depression. You know, it's one of the biggest things that nobody's talking about, that everybody suffers through.
I want the Lex Luger.
We can help you with that as well, with the ketamine infusions. It helps with chronic pain, anxiety. We got pretty much everything covered. I would love to get somebody, a former professional football player or any player that maybe deals with CTE, to see if this can change their life, because
Antonio Brown.
It's been helping everybody else. If anybody knows Antonio Brown, and he can link us up.
Man.
I'm in St. Petersburg, Florida. You know where Tampa is, Antonio. Let's make this happen. I want to help you live the way you're supposed to. All right. But yeah, besides that, Totem Pole Nation.
You're the president.
Totem Pole Nation. We love you guys. Go follow Johnny Bottles
Look at the bottom
now.
Yeah.
Would it be possible for me to start posting motivational content on this channel? Abso-freaking-lutely.
We already made that decision.
Abso-freaking-lutely. Yeah.
We made that decision before you even asked.
Yeah. Look at this one. Look at this one. This one is cleaning the pool today when she wakes up. Yep.
Hey, Johnny Bottles, if I was a pro wrestler,
yes, sir,
or I was a manager, who could I be? What type of role, what type of person would I model my character after? Or who would they say I'm copying?
I got my answer as well to this.
You could be the new Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Ooh.
Wow.
I like him. He wouldn't shake my friend's hand. I don't know where your hand's
Why?
been.
Heenan would?
Because I don't know where your hand's been. This is like 1994, 5.
Did he call you a humanoid? He called everybody humanoids.
He called them humanoids? That's a big deal today.
He calls people humanoid.
Humanoids is a big deal. That woman said she saw that MFer isn't real. He was a humanoid. Yeah. Sometimes you'll see my eyes blink sideways.
I've been watching that all podcast. I'm waiting for it to happen.
So is it Bobby the Brain Heenan for both of y'all?
I was thinking more old school Gary Hart. Gary Hart.
Yes.
Yeah,
no, that's Jimmy Hart. You're thinking of the mouth of the South. Gary Hart. Gary
Hart was
Hart?
world class wrestling, right?
Yes.
He was everything.
And WCW.
He was AWA, NWA, WCW.
He had one of these beauties right here. Yeah.
Yes, he
his
did.
Haircuts
and a full beard.
His haircuts didn't cost a whole lot of money.
Jim Cornette, man. Jim Cornette was great with his tennis racket. The nerdy dude that was
Jim
like
Cornette.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
Those three.
I can see you with that. We'll get you a nice sequin sport coat you can put on.
Yeah.
A red sequin sport coat, all sparkly. Give you a tennis racket. No, you'd have a clipboard with a lead weight in it. All right.
I like
loaded.
Peace out, guys. Thumbs up. Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up.
To the next episode.